Hi everyone. So I wanted to do a video showing my black and white to color process. However, I am in fact an idiot and used the wrong screen share mode thingy scene on my OBS, and so it didn't pick up Coolorus. I have recorded another video that will show everything that's actually happening. So bear with me. This is sort of a in between video, but I can at least talk a little bit about the process that I use and the way that I think about it, even if you can't actually see the colors that I'm using, which would in fact be helpful. So as you can see, I kind of start with a different layer on top of the black and white. I tend to stick to soft light when I'm laying down my initial colors. A soft light layer mode just works best for me. I know some people like overlay or a multiply layer depending on what they want. But when I'm laying down these initial colors, I just want to get an impression. And then, as you'll see down the line, I will go in and use different layer modes and merging and stuff like that. But basically, I just sort of go in. You can see I'm adding some red, some brighter saturation into his skin tone. Which you can't see right now because, again, I fucked it up, is that I lean very saturated when I'm selecting colors, because if you don't oversaturate the colors that you're using, you're going to end up with like really muted colors. And you can see I went in with an overlay layer, and I'm trying other things, and I'm always sort of like testing and toggling things on and off, trying different layer modes. An overlay I do typically use to sort of brighten things up, and it really adds a pop of vibrance. So I will play around with a mix of soft light and overlay. You can see I'm going in with a different layer, sort of brushing in some of her skin tone, and I'll sort of go about this. I will merge kind of mid on in the process, and then play with the colors from there. Something that I definitely try to do and think about as I'm blocking in colors, and you can see that I'm not being too precious. There are times when I'm working on a piece and I am a lot more intentional about where I'm brushing in the colors, but I wanted this piece to be very atmospheric. Excuse me. And so, I'm not being super, super specific at this point in time. And you can see that I'm going in with some hue variation here, adding some blues and some more purpley tones, some reds, and just really trying to play. And you can see there I'm like, toggling the soft light on and off and just, seeing what's going on, just trying to keep track of my colors and, where I'm taking this piece. And one of the things that I do always try to do, especially in skin tones, is to play a lot with those bounce lights and those reds and blues that you're going to find, just within the skin tone, and from the interaction of other things that are happening. So that's something that I'm sort of, keeping in mind as I am playing around with color. And again, nothing is ever truly set in stone. I definitely go through and, play with filters and stuff like that to adjust my colors as I go. You can see also I brushed in on a color dodge layer to really amp up those highlights that I wanted on, her shoulders and those areas, his, wrist, because I was really trying to focus on my lighting on this piece and, play with that. Yeah, so I just kind of noodle around for a bit, just brushing in those colors as you do, just having a grand old time, let me tell you. Sometimes I use a little smudgy smudge to really blend in the colors. It sort of sometimes will give me a different color that I might not have thought to pick. So that's something that I enjoy playing with. Now I'm just going in and trying to clear out where his shirt is, since, you're not going to get quite as much of those colors in his white shirt. And I'm just trying to clear where her dress will be so that I have like a clean palette and I'm not, going in with too much of the other colors. So this process for me is definitely pretty experimental, and again, the main thing to remember is play with more saturation than you think you need. And remember that nothing is set in stone. Once I realized that I could adjust the colors, once I had like a base down, I felt so much freedom, and like the world was my colorful oyster. So you really can just keep playing. There's a ton of different layer modes, color lookup, which you'll see I do later on. Well, you can't really see it because again I fucked it up, so you can't see anything that's not directly on the Photoshop. So, there's color lookup, there's color adjustment, there's hue saturation adjustments. Like, there's just so much at our fingertips. Gradient maps, like, those can be really fun to play with. And experimenting with the power of them, the impact of them. You can do these gradient maps or these color lookups and then, lower the opacity of it and lower, all of that stuff, and you get things that, for me, my brain wouldn't automatically think. Again, brushing in some of those really nice blues to play with, and I do end up going and changing the background, by the way. Like, this background does not stay, which if you've seen the final piece, I'm terrible at backgrounds. I always play around with it. It never stays the same. I just always am so bad. Like, my first background instinct is like never right, but one day we'll get there. So this process is definitely very experimental. Once I go through and merge, again, you can sort of like start playing with the way that the colors impact each other and play with each other. And those adjustment layers are really, really helpful to sort of get the effect that you want. And it's just fun. Like, this process for me is a lot of fun. And then once I do have these base colors, I go through and I continue painting. So like, I never leave it as is. And another thing is make sure you make groups and copy like different stages so that you always have like the iterations, in case you do fuck up, which sometimes I do, and I don't like where I'm headed, and then I have to, start back at square one. And knowing that you have those different save points is very helpful. Here I am playing with those color lookup layers and, fading those and playing with that. So again, it just sort of helps as well to get the right atmosphere that you're going for with your piece. And it's fun to play. Like, just play, you guys. If you are afraid of doing black and white to color, try colors that you wouldn't ever think. Like, try new filters and like layer modes and things like that. Like, just see what is out there. And as someone who's not, I'm just self-taught, so it's all about experimenting, and it's fun. So yeah, this is my, very basic color process. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think about this new type of content. I'm looking forward to creating more digital videos for you guys and just sort of playing around and trying new things. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the final piece. I had a lot of fun working on this one. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. This is my first video. All right, bye.